sitting in the morning sun.
Picture this. It's 1953. The radio crackles to life in a smoky Detroit nightclub, and the voice that comes through, it doesn't just fill the room, it stops time. That's the world we're diving into today.
Sitting when the evening comes.
An era when singers didn't need autotune, didn't need 100 takes, didn't need anything except raw, God-given soul that could make a grown man cry into his whiskey.
Wasting time.
We're counting down the 12 greatest R&B singers of all time, the ones who invented the blueprint, the ones who gave soul music its backbone. And by the time we hit number 1, you'll understand why modern R&B exists at all. Let's start where legends are born.
Headed for the Frisco Bay.
Number 12, Clyde McPhatter.
I know that the music's fine like sparkling wine. Go.
If you don't know that name, you're about to discover the voice that invented everything. 1951. McPhatter stands in front of the dominoes, opens his mouth, and out comes something nobody's ever heard before.
Let you go. I love you oh so much.
That high, aching tenor that sounds like pure heartbreak wrapped in honey. McPhatter brought gospel into R&B when it was practically illegal. Churches called it the devil's music.
So darling, save the last dance for me.
And McPhatter, he did it anyway. That falsetto on Have Mercy Baby in 1952.
So darling, save the...
That's the blueprint. Every male R&B singer who ever hit a high note owes this man a royalty check.
When we touch, I will never let...
Before Clyde McPhatter, male R&B singers stayed in their chest voice, safe, predictable. But McPhatter understood something revolutionary. Vulnerability is power.
Dance for me.
When he'd flip into that falsetto, and he was showing the full range of human emotion. The desperation, the longing, the parts of a man's soul that society said he should hide.
In your home and in his arms you're gonna be.
Then he leaves the dominoes, forms the Drifters. Money Honey, 1953, that vocal control, those runs. He's painting with his voice, and the canvas is our souls. But here's the tragedy. By the late 60s, Clyde McPhatter was broke, alcoholic, broken by an industry that took everything and gave back pennies.
Laugh and sing, but while we're apart.
He died in 1972, 39 years old, heart attack, alone in New York. The man who invented the modern male R&B voice died without a penny to his name. But his influence.
Oh, I know that the music's fine like spark.
Listen to Smokey Robinson, Eddie Kendricks, Philip Bailey, falsetto as emotional expression. That's all Clyde McPhatter.
Don't give your heart to anyone.
Number 11, Ruth Brown.
Care how you get here, just get here if you...
They didn't call Atlantic Records the house that Ruth built, for no reason. Between 1949 and 1960, this woman had 21 top 10 hits on the R&B charts.
You can reach me with your mind.
But forget the numbers. Let's talk about what Ruth Brown actually did. She took the blues, the deep Mississippi cotton field blues, and she made it sexy, made it urban, made it sharp enough to cut glass.
I don't care how you get...
Listen to Teardrops from My Eyes from 1950. That's not just singing, that's architecture. She's building the entire structure of what female R&B would become.
Surely you would be closer.
Ruth had this way of starting a phrase soft, almost conversational, then suddenly opening up into full belt that would rattle the walls.
Yeah, just get here.
Modern producers try to recreate that with compression and effects. Ruth did it naturally with breath control and emotion. Chi mama, he treats your daughter mean.
You can reach me by caravan.
From 1953, she wasn't singing abstract emotions, she was singing specificity, real situations, real pain. And she delivered it with a wink and a growl that said, I'm hurting, but I'm not broken.
Cross the desert like an Arab man.
But here's the real kicker. Ruth Brown fought Atlantic Records in court in the 1980s for unpaid royalties, and won.
There are hills and mountains.
Atlantic had made millions off her recordings, given her almost nothing. She testified before Congress about artists' rights and changed the industry.
I don't care how you...
Ruth Brown lived to 78, died in 2006, won a Tony, won a Grammy, got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, one of the few pioneers who got to see their full legacy.
Now, before you click away, here's a crazy stat. Only 1% of you watching right now are actually subscribed to R&B Groove. 1%. That means 99 out of every 100 people are getting this content for free and disappearing. If this video gave you chills, if you learned something, if you felt that soul, hit that subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds and it keeps this channel alive. Let's change that 1%. Subscribe now.
Number 10, LaVern Baker, 1955.
I tried to call Jim Danny to the rescue. Well,
Tweedledee hits the radio, and white America loses its mind.
Jim Danny to the rescue. Jim Danny to the...
Not just because of the song, because of the growl, that raw, unfiltered, almost dangerous edge in LaVern's voice that said, "I will not be tamed."
Jim Danny to the rescue. Well, go Jim Danny.
Georgia Gibbs covered it immediately, made it softer, safer, whiter, and still LaVern's version outsold it in the black communities because there's no substituting the real thing.
Girl named Sue, she was feeling kind of blue.
Listen to Jim Dandy from 1956. That's vocal gymnastics before vocal gymnastics had a name. She's jumping octaves, sliding between notes like they're greased.
Jim Danny to the rescue. Well, go Jim.
Making it sound effortless when it's actually impossible. Here's something wild. She was the first artist to petition Congress about song plagiarism. 1955. She testified that Georgia Gibbs and other white artists were stealing black artists' songs, softening them, and making millions while the originators got nothing. The music industry didn't care, but LaVern spoke truth to power. Saved from 1961. That's LaVern taking gospel and secularizing it with such joy that even the church folks couldn't stay mad. She's shouting, testifying, bringing the Holy Ghost into R&B with no apologies. She was also one of the first R&B artists to perform in integrated venues. Her voice was so undeniable that audiences integrated whether they wanted to or not. Died in 1997 at 67.
Go Jim Danny on a mountaintop.
Number 9, Little Willie John 5'4". 120 pounds soaking wet, and the most powerful voice you've ever heard compressed into a human frame.
When you kiss me, fever when you...
Willie John was convicted of manslaughter, sent to Walla Walla State Penitentiary, and in 1968, Willie John died in prison. Heart attack, 30 years old.
I light up when you call my name, 'cause I know...
One of the greatest voices in music history was silenced at 30. James Brown called Willie John his biggest influence.
Hold me tight. Fever!
Sam Cooke studied Willie John's phrasing. Otis Redding learned emotional intensity from Willie John's records. Number 8, Dinah Washington.
What a kiss it was, it really was.
The Queen of the Blues. But that title doesn't even scratch the surface. Dinah Washington could sing anything.
A kiss, just the thought of his lips set me.
Jazz, blues, R&B, pop, gospel, and she owned every genre she touched. 1959.
I gave my heart to him in sweet surrender.
What a difference a day makes. That's a pop standard, been recorded 100 times, and Dinah takes it and injects so much soul, so much ache, so much lived experience into every syllable that it becomes something entirely new.
Night, oh what a night it was, it really was.
Her phrasing was surgical. She'd come in just behind the beat, lag for a millisecond, and create this tension that made you lean forward without realizing it. She was manipulating time itself through rhythm and placement.
Surrender, how well I remember.
But here's the thing about Dinah, she had perfect pitch, could hear a song once and perform it flawlessly. That's not talent, that's supernatural.
Oh, such a night.
And she used that gift to record over 400 songs before she died at 39. This Bitter Earth from 1960.
I'll always remember.
Dinah loads every word with so much weight, so much hard-earned wisdom, that you feel like you're listening to the voice of experience itself, the accumulated pain of every broken heart in history.
The moon was bright, oh how bright it was.
Dinah Washington's personal life was chaos. Married 7 times, struggled with pills, with alcohol, and she didn't soften herself. Dinah was known for her sharp tongue, her refusal to take disrespect from anyone. She'd demand her money up front and in cash.
It really was such a night. The night was alive.
In the 1950s and 60s, as a black woman, that took courage that's hard to overstate. She died in 1963.
It was a kiss. Oh, what a kiss.
Overdose of diet pills and alcohol. 39 years old. Another giant gone before 40.
Just the thought of his lips set me afire.
Number 7. Brook Benton. 1959 to 1964. This man had 40 charting singles.
Softer than the gentle.
But numbers don't capture what Brook Benton actually was. That voice, deep, smooth, rich as melted chocolate. He could make a grocery list sound like a marriage proposal.
How I will love you.
It's Just a Matter of Time from 1959. That's seduction as an art form. He's not singing at you. He's singing into you. Every note is precisely calibrated to bypass your brain and speak directly to something deeper. Brook Benton's vocal quality was distinctive.
Can be.
Baritone, resonant. With this slight rasp that added texture without compromising clarity, he sounded like a man who'd lived, who'd loved and lost.
Sunrise.
When Brook Benton sang about heartbreak, you believed him because his voice carried the scars. But Brook Benton was also one of the greatest songwriters in R&B history.
These arms to surround.
Wrote hits for Nat King Cole, Clyde McPhatter, Roy Hamilton. The man understood song structure like architects understand buildings, and he had longevity.
Will love you. Oh.
Rainy Night in Georgia from 1970. He's 50 years old when he records that, and it's one of his biggest hits. That's staying power. Brook Benton died in 1988. 56 years old, but his catalog remains, and younger generations keep discovering him, keep marveling at that voice. Number 6, Jackie Wilson. Mr. Excitement. Jackie Wilson had a 4-octave range, could go from baritone to soprano without breaking a sweat, and every note, every run, every ad-lib was pure electricity. 1958, Lonely Teardrops. That's the song that defined an era. The way Jackie bends that word, lonely. The way he stretches teardrops until it physically hurts. That's not technique, that's transubstantiation. He's turning sound into feeling. And his live performances. The man would do splits, backflips, full choreography while hitting notes that would make trained opera singers jealous. James Brown learned everything from watching Jackie Wilson. Michael Jackson studied Jackie's moves. The entire vocabulary of R&B performance traces back to this one man. Jackie was trained, classically trained, studied opera, But he took all that formal education and filtered it through raw, uncut emotion. The result was something nobody had heard before. Technical perfection married to primal feeling. Higher and Higher from 1967. Jackie was always reaching, always trying to transcend his circumstances through sheer vocal power. And for 3 minutes at a time, he did. But here's what people forget. Jackie Wilson was controlled by the mob. His manager was connected to organized crime. Took all his money, made him tour constantly, work himself to death. And the tragedy. In 1975, Jackie had a heart attack on stage in New Jersey, performing Lonely Teardrops, collapsed mid-song, hit his head on the stage, brain damage. Spent the last 8 years of his life in a vegetative state, unable to speak, unable to sing. He died in 1984, 49 years old. The price of genius is often everything. Jackie Wilson paid it twice over. Number 5, Sam Cooke. The man with the golden voice. Sam Cooke's voice was warm, inviting, comforting. But underneath that warmth was steel. Underneath that comfort was revolution.
New York way, all where people are so gay.
He started in gospel, the soul stirrers, could make church mothers faint with a single note.
Have a lot of fun, they're putting trouble on the run.
Then he crossed over to secular music in 1957, and the gospel world called it betrayal. Sam didn't care. He understood something bigger was happening.
Here we go, twisting the night. Let me tell you about it.
You Send Me, 1957. That's the crossover. That's the bridge between sacred and secular.
Twisting that make me feel good. Ha! And man, you ought to see.
The song is gospel in structure, gospel in feeling, but the subject is romantic love, not divine love. That was revolutionary. But his phrasing.
Here's the fella in blue jeans, dancing with.
Sam Cooke could take the simplest lyric and make it profound through nothing but placement.
See her go, chick twisting to the rock and roll.
Listen to A Change Is Gonna Come from 1964. Every word is weighted, every pause is pregnant with meaning. He's not just singing about civil rights, he's testifying.
Oh, the queen, chick dollop and a diamond ring.
Bring It On Home to Me from 1962. That call and response structure. Sam singing lead, Lou Rawls answering in the background.
I like to go around. I love to go.
That's the church. Sam brought gospel techniques to R&B and made it seem natural. But Sam Cooke was also a businessman. Started his own record label, SAR Records, controlled his publishing.
Let me take you by your hand, and it go like this.
In the 1960s, as a black artist, that was almost unheard of. Most black singers were being robbed blind. Sam decided to own his destiny. Chain Gang from 1960.
I tell you about it. Here's the man in evening clothes.
That's Sam using his platform. It's not explicitly about civil rights, but it's about black men in chains, singing to ease their burden. The subtext is deafening.
And everybody's feeling great. They're twisting.
Sam could say revolutionary things in ways that got played on pop radio. Died at 33. Shot in a motel. December 1964. The circumstances are still disputed. What's not disputed is this. Sam Cooke was at the absolute peak of his powers. And then he was gone.
Here we go, twisting the night. Let me tell you.
A Change Is Gonna Come was released after his death. He never got to see it become an anthem. 33. Another martyr.
So gay, twisting the night away.
Number 4, Chuck Jackson. Here's a name that doesn't get enough respect. This man released some of the most emotionally devastating R&B ever recorded. And that voice, that deep, resonant, world-weary voice that sounded like it had seen everything and survived. Barely.
Keep you if you don't wanna.
Any Day Now from 1962. If you can listen to that without feeling something crack in your chest, check your pulse.
For dear life.
Chuck Jackson takes heartbreak and makes it operatic, makes it universal. His vibrato was natural, unforced. It would just appear in the middle of a phrase like a tremor in the earth. You'd feel it in your bones before you heard it with your ears. And he had this ability to sound both strong and vulnerable simultaneously. Confident and desperate, certain and pleading.
And you'll be on your way.
That's the kind of emotional complexity that most singers spend their entire careers trying to fake. Chuck Jackson lived it. I Don't Want to Cry from 1961. That's Chuck's debut single, and it's already fully formed. That deep, mournful tone, that sense of resignation mixed with defiance. He's not going to cry, but you can hear the tears in his voice anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Here's something crucial about Chuck Jackson. He was a pure R&B singer. Never crossed over to pop, never softened his sound, never compromised.
Any day now.
In the 60s, when many black artists were trying to appeal to white audiences, Chuck stayed true to the black sound. The thing about Chuck Jackson is emotional honesty. He never oversang, never showed off, just delivered the lyric with total commitment.
Any day now.
That authenticity resonated with audiences who'd had their hearts broken, and he's still alive. 87 years old, one of the few on this list who got to see the full arc of R&B history, but he never got the mainstream recognition he deserved.
I'll be all alone.
Number 3, Solomon Burke, the king of rock and soul.
You're all alone, honey.
Solomon Burke was a preacher, an actual ordained minister, started preaching at 7 years old, founded his own church at 12, and he brought every ounce of that pulpit power into R&B.
Crying. Here I am.
1964. Everybody Needs Somebody to Love. That's not a song, that's a sermon. Solomon is preaching salvation through love, and you better believe every word because the man's conviction could move mountains. His voice was massive, not just loud, massive. It had weight, it had gravity. When Solomon Burke sang, you felt it in your chest like a bass drum.
Here I am, my baby.
But he could also whisper, could get intimate, could make you feel like he was singing just for you in a room of thousands. Solomon's technique was rooted in the black church tradition, call and response, repetition for emphasis, or building intensity through accumulated passion. He understood that music is about creating an experience, a moment of transcendence. Cry to Me from 1962. That's Solomon at his most tender. He's offering comfort, offering his shoulder, and his voice wraps around you like a warm blanket. That's range, not vocal range, emotional range. Solomon Burke was also a character, wore a cape and crown on stage, sat on a throne, had attendants fan him with palm fronds. It sounds ridiculous. But Solomon understood something important. R&B is theatre, gospel is theatre, and he was the greatest showman in the game. His influence on other singers is profound. Mick Jagger studied Solomon Burke. The Rolling Stones covered Cry to Me and Everybody Needs Somebody to Love. Wilson Pickett learned stage presence from Solomon. Otis Redding absorbed Solomon's emotional intensity. Died in 2010, at 70. One of the few on this list who got to see old age, got to watch R&B evolve for 5 decades.
You better believe it.
Number 2, Ray Charles, Brother Ray, the genius.
Comes as sweet and
The man who took gospel, blues, jazz, and country, threw them in a blender, and poured out pure soul. Here's what Ray Charles understood that nobody else did.
other eyes.
Music has no borders, no boundaries, no rules except the ones that serve the song. So when he recorded I Got a Woman in 1954, he took a gospel melody and made it secular.
Other eyes.
Made it about romantic love instead of divine love. The church was furious, and Ray Charles changed music forever.
Smile tenderly.
That voice, raspy, raw, soaked in whiskey and cigarette smoke and late nights and hard living,
Leads back to you.
but also joyful, also celebratory, also capable of tenderness that could make you weep.
Georgia.
Georgia on My Mind, 1960. That's not singing, that's alchemy. He takes longing and nostalgia and homesickness and transmutes them into sound.
I said Georgia.
You don't even have to be from Georgia to feel it. The emotion is that universal. Ray Charles was a complete musical force, blind from age 7, lost his sight but gained something else.
Georgia.
An ability to hear music in dimensions sighted people miss. He could hear the space between notes, the relationship between rhythms, the conversation between instruments.
Leads back to you.
What Did I Say from 1959? That's Ray inventing funk before funk existed. That electric piano,
Georgia.
that call and response with the Raelettes, that building intensity. Radio stations banned it, called it too suggestive, and it became one of the biggest hits of the era.
Whoa.
And his emotional range. Ray could sing anything and make it Ray Charles music. I Can't Stop Loving You from 1962. That's a country song.
All of you.
But Ray takes it and soulifies it so completely that it becomes an R&B standard.
Pines.
But here's what made Ray Charles truly revolutionary. He refused to perform for segregated audiences. This is the 50s and 60s, Jim Crow.
Comes as sweet and clear.
And Ray Charles said, "My audience integrates or I don't perform." Got banned from Georgia for years, but he stood his ground. His influence on music is incalculable. Every genre he touched, he changed.
I said Georgia.
Stevie Wonder learned from Ray. Aretha Franklin studied his emotional delivery. Every singer who's ever made you feel something is standing on Ray Charles's shoulders.
The road leads back.
He lived to 73, died in 2004. Got to see his biopic. Got to be recognized as the genius he was. Left behind a legacy so massive, we're still unpacking it.
Tenderly.
But there's one singer, one voice, one artist who stands above them all.
I said Georgia.
Number 1, Otis Redding. And here's why.
Look like
Otis Redding sang professionally for 11 years, 1960 to 1967. That's it.
can't do what 10 people tell me to do.
In that impossibly short time, he became the single most important voice in soul music history. That voice.
And this loneliness won't leave me alone.
Lord, that voice, gritty, urgent, desperate. Like every song might be his last chance to tell you something vital. Because as it turned out, many of them were.
So I guess I'll remain the same. Listen.
Try a Little Tenderness from 1966. Start to finish, that's a journey. He begins gentle, coaxing, almost whispering. Then builds and builds. And by the end, he's screaming with so much passion, so much need, so much raw emotional power that you're exhausted just listening.
I roll away.
That's not performance, that's possession. But here's what made Otis different. Authenticity. You believed every word, every note, every grunt and growl and ad-lib.
On my way, so I'm just gonna sit.
There was no performance, there was only truth. When Otis sang about pain, you felt his pain. The membrane between the song and the singer didn't exist.
Hey, 'cause I've had nothing.
Respect, from 1965. Yes, before Aretha. Otis wrote it, and his version is about a man asking for respect from his woman. It's pleading, it's vulnerable.
Dock my home, now I'm just gonna sit.
Then Aretha takes it and flips it into a feminist anthem. But Otis's version is the blueprint. His phrasing was unconventional.
I'm sitting on a dock of a bay.
He'd break words in strange places, grunt in the middle of phrases, add vocalizations that weren't in the melody. These Arms of Mine, from 1963. Every phrase is shaped by emotion, not by formal musical structure.
I'll be sitting when the evening comes.
I've Been Loving You Too Long, from 1965. That's 6 minutes of escalating desperation. Otis is begging. Here.
Listen, sitting here resting my bones.
He needed 11 years to say everything that mattered, to show us what a human voice could do when inhabited by pure soul.
As I roam, just to make